Hey everybody, Kyle Goth here from GoatFilmReviews.com and the Goat Film Reviews YouTube channel, and I've got another quick reaction, early first reaction, whatever you're going to call it, for the Banshees of Inisherin, which is the new Martin McDonagh film. This is his fourth feature, fifth film overall, if you count the short film Six Shooter. I have seen every single one of his movies, and I thought this was quite good. I think for about 90% of the film, I loved it. There's a few choices made, particularly near the ending, where I felt like they were headed towards a particular kind of payoff. Maybe one that I wasn't going to enjoy so much, but appreciate. And I liked parts of it, and I didn't like parts of the ending and how it kind of closed the loop, if you will. But 90% of this movie I loved, and that's a glowing thing to have, because not every movie can get even 1% of love. Yeah, I think, it's not as strong as something like In Bruges, maybe not as strong as Three Billboards. I'd have to revisit that film, but I think it's a step up from something like Seven Psychopaths, which is a lot of great ideas, but doesn't really coalesce as well as his other films do. This one is interesting because it is a very weird story, and it is a very weird movie. The story that is at play here is something I've never quite seen played out in a 2-hour movie before. The idea that a guy says to another guy, I don't want to be friends with you anymore. And it's weird because it's kind of this black comedy melodrama or tragic comedy. It's hard to place it in a genre because, yeah, I laughed a lot. I laughed a ton throughout this movie, more so than probably most other movies I've seen this year, especially ones intended for comedy. And I feel there's an intention to mine this for black comedy, but it also felt like there wasn't that many, jokes or humorous bits. It was more just the absurdity of the situation, even though it's a situation I myself have found myself in before. So I kind of understand the idea of I need to move past the people that are holding me back. Colin Farrell is delightful in the film. I like when Colin Farrell's great in almost everything he's in, but I particularly like when he plays kind of against type. He's kind of sold as being a angry, frenetic kind of Irish energy, which I understand. I got a little Irish in me, so I understand angry, frenetic Irish energy. And that's kind of what he plays a lot of in most of the films that he's been cast. He's got kind of like a type, but I love, that 30-40% of the time when he plays completely against it, because, he's playing an Irishman on this little lonely island, and he's just trying to figure out what's wrong. What did I do? He's trying to search for an answer that he doesn't really have. And the whole film doesn't give him those answers as cleanly as he wants. But it's a movie it's a very tragic story for him because of the things that he loses just trying to win back the one thing that he thinks he needs. And this narrative between him, the give and take between him and Brendan Gleeson, is wonderful. It's really interesting to see them again playing against type. Because Colin Farrell's kind of playing, he's kind of playing a whiny little bitch for a good chunk of the movie. He's kind of a whiny little guy, and for good reason. And then you have, Brendan Gleeson, who, again, is a master of line delivery. He's great at many things, but he's a master of line delivery. He knows cadence. He knows, word choice is part of the screenplay thing, but he knows how to deliver a line very, very well. And I think the kinds of conversations he has to have in this movie really push at the level of believability, but he always harnesses those lines, that pieces of dialogue, and he brings it back down to earth, and he does a really good job at that. Those two are really good together. The standout performances, I think, might be Carrie Condon, who really stands out because she's not given nearly as much to do as the other two, but she rises to their level. And also Barry, I think it's Barry Keoghan, I think that's how it's said. Barry Keoghan is really, really great in a lot of other movies. This might be his best performance of his career so far. I haven't seen Killing of a Sacred Deer, but I really like Barry Keoghan in The Batman. I really liked him in Eternals. I really liked him in Dunkirk. There's other movies that I can't even think of with him. He's really great in a lot of movies, but he plays this bumbling idiot Dominic, who's kind of like the other end of the spectrum. He's the guy perfectly willing to hang out with Colin Farrell's character, but Colin does not want to hang out with him. He wants to be with Brendan Gleeson. He wants to be with his buddy. But he's now seeing this intellectual side of Brendan Gleeson's character that he's trying to rise to that, but he finds himself slipping back down into the Dominic kind of foolish, bumbling idiot drunk who doesn't have a great home life. Like, there's this interesting, like, push and pull of all the different characters, and it's the relationships they have. The guy that plays the pub owner is really great. Yeah, there's so much to mine from this movie. I just don't know how I feel about that last 10%. And so I need to think about it. I need to ruminate on it. But that's what great cinema does. It makes us think and ruminate on these ideas and these things that it left us with. This is almost like a unique movie in that I don't know of another movie that really has this kind of story with this kind of style. And that's something special. You know, when you have an art form that's been around for over 100 years and you can still find something that is very different. And this is a very different movie. And I don't know that it'll work for everybody, but I do think for most of the audience, if you've seen a Martin McDonagh film, if you've seen In Bruges, if you've seen Seven Psychopaths, if you've seen Six Shooter, or Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, and you liked any of those, give this one a try. Because it's again, probably the weirdest film that he's done. And it works for the most part. And again, I'm not even saying I don't even think I dislike the ending. I'm just very mixed. My feelings are mixed on this ending, and I've got to really kind of like work my brain around it for a little while. But that's good. I like that too. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on the Banshees of Inisherin down in the comment section below, and give me your favorite Martin McDonagh film. Maybe it's a short film, maybe it's one of his features. I'd like to hear your thoughts on it down below, and make sure while you're down there, please like and subscribe. There are 2 free things that you can do that help to support the channel, and they make sure you never miss new episodes of the show as they drop, which I do appreciate. You can find GoFromReviews.com for my many written reviews. You can find Goat From Reviews on Facebook. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd at Almighty Goatman. And don't forget to check out my other show, Kyle and Nick on Film, that I co-host with Nick Palatichuk of the St. Paul Filmcast. We have episodes Mondays, Thursdays, and Scary Movie Saturdays. We'll catch you all over there. The links are down in the description, and we'll see you.